Welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to solve Leetcode problem 303, that is range sum query. So in this question, they will give an array and some queries, that is they will mention left index and a right index. We need to return some of the elements from left index to right index. So consider this example where they have given this array, which is num array. This is the array they have given, and the first query is 0 to 2. So at index 0 we have -2, and at index 1 we have 0, at index 1 we have 3, at index 2 we have 3, and at index 2 we have -5. So what is the sum of elements from index 0 to 2? So that is 0 to 2 is these three numbers. If we sum these three numbers, sum becomes 1. That is the answer. So and then second query is from 2 to 5. So from 2 to 5, these are the numbers. If we sum these numbers, the sum is -1. If we compute the sum, 3 plus -5 is -2, and -2 plus 2 becomes 0, and then we add -1. So sum becomes -1. So and the last query is 0 to 5. In this question, we have to, for this query for 0 to 5, we have to choose element from 0 to 5, that is totally 6 elements. That is sum of these elements. So this index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we need to sum all these elements and return the sum. So that sum will be -3. So one way to do it is every time whenever we receive a query, we can go from left index to right index, and we can update the sum in the answer array. So that is one way to do it. But if you are if you go through the array for each query, then that takes O of n time complexity. So depending upon the query, if there are n queries of this, if left index starts from 0 and right index is len -1, then at that time we will go through array each time for each query. Instead of doing this, we can go through array once and we can return any of these queries in constant time. Let us consider this example where the given numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I will also write the index for each element. So index start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Instead of 7, I have written 8 for the index. So then we will compute the sum till I. So sum till I represents sum of all the elements from 0 to I. First index at 1, and then we will keep on adding those numbers. So how we are writing that red array? We are starting from 1 and we will keep on adding all the elements till that index. So let us consider one example where the left is 2 and the right is 5. In this question, we want to return sum from those elements 3, 4, 5, and 6, because those are the elements which fall under from 2 to 5. So in order to get the sum, we have to sum all those numbers and return it. This is one simple way of doing it. Since we can compute sum till array in O of n time, we can make use of that sums to compute this range sum directly. So consider we will get to know like how we are getting that difference. So we know that sum till 6 represents all these numbers, and sum till 2 represent this range. This is the right and this is the left -1. So if we subtract that first sum from the second arrow, if you can subtract those two things, then we will arrive at this solution. So sum from left to right, that is L to R, will be equal to sum till right index, and from that range we have to subtract this sum till left -1, because that is what we have asked in the question. So this is applicable only when left index is greater than 0. When left is 0, then we can directly return sum till r. Let us implement this same solution. They will call this method to initialize this class, this object, that is numArray. Whenever they call this function, let us initialize our array. So we will create one more array, self.values. So it will be, initially we will set all the elements to 0. It will be of the same length of len of nums. So for, then we have to, instead of values, we can name it as sum till because it makes more sense. So for I in range of len of nums, we'll initialize this array. So we'll take one more variable just to make this simple. We'll say current sum equals 0, and here current sum plus equals nums of 5, and we will assign this to sum till I, sum till of 5, because this represents sum of all the elements till that index, current sum. So this sum till is specific to that object, so we have to use self here, and current sum is fine. So once we know that, once we create this array, answering these queries is really simple. So if our left is not 0, then we can simply return the difference in the range sum till right, and then we have to subtract sum till left minus 1, because we need in this range we have to start from left and we have to end at right. So we don't need, we just have to specify this left minus 1. That is when left is not equals to 0. Otherwise the index will go out of bound. Otherwise we can just return self dot, if index is 0, then this is the sum of the range. So let's see whether it passes the initial test cases. Yes, as you can see here, this is passing the initial test case. And before submitting the solution, let us understand like what is the space complexity for this thing. Space complexity equals, we are using one array of size n, so this is the extra space that we are using. So this will scale with the input linearly. So time, our space complexity is O of n. And what is the time complexity? So time complexity, we will go through array once, only once, that is O of n. So we will go through array once, that is O of n. Our time complexity is also O of n. But for each query, whenever we receive a query, we are returning in O of one time, because we are not going through the array. We will get this in constant time. We will get these elements from the array in constant time. So time complexity for this method, for the range method, time complexity is O of 1. For this method, time complexity is O of 1, and for we are getting O of n for this method actually in it, because we are going through the array once to compute sum till each index. Let us submit this solution and see whether it passes all the test cases. Yes, as you can see here, the solution is passing all the test cases. This problem will be helpful in solving other related problems. I will discuss those problems in future videos. If you are interested in learning more about data structures and algorithms, you can consider subscribing to this channel. Thanks for watching this video.